Well, good evening and welcome to Kopernik Observatory. My name is Drew Deskur. I'm the director here. It's great to have you join us here for a presentation this evening and some observing later, immediately after the presentation. Um, let's see here. Some of the faces are familiar to me, but I always like to do this. Who's here for the first time or not since your fourth grade field trip? All right, a handful of people. Who here are members? All right, almost the other half. What I like to do is I mention that Kopernik is uh, we're a public observatory and an informal STEM education facility. We opened in 1974 and just 2 years ago actually celebrated our 50th anniversary. During the school year, we bring school groups up here for STEM engagements. During the summer, we do summer camps for students as young as going into second grade through high school. And we just a couple of weeks ago, a couple hours ago, actually, finished a couple of camps. One's called "What's in Your Backyard." Other one was actually about virtual reality. But what I really love are these Friday night programs. It's an opportunity for us to really expand our knowledge, especially talking to the young kids that are here. You'll notice there's a lot of people that are much older than you, some of which have, if they have any hair, if they have gray hair or if they have hair at all, and it's really, the kind of thing we should always be doing is thinking about lifelong learning. But let me just loop back here about the membership. Kopernik members have a particularly valuable piece of information that in your Kopernik membership actually gets you into over 380 other science centers. So you could go to the Robertson Museum. You could go to the Corning Museum of Glass in Corning. You could go to the Museum of Science and Technology up in Syracuse. The Intrepid down in New York City, which has the Enterprise, the space shuttle that they used to just test the gliding capabilities of the space shuttle. And a few years ago, one of my daughters and I went down to the Franklin Institute in Philly, and had we paid full price for just the two of us, it actually would have cost more than a full year's membership. So if you like this kind of place, and especially if you're going to be doing any traveling this summer, getting a Kopernik membership would actually be valuable and it will save you some money. So if you go to our website, we always keep you up to date with what's going on. So we always say you can go to the main page. Will tell you exactly what's coming up. As I mentioned, we are big into our summer camps right now. This year we have almost 260 students, 264 students over the 8 weeks. You can learn more about that. There's still a few summer camps that are some openings in a few of the camps that are left. So you can just go to that part of the tab, and depending on what age your child is, you can take a look and see if you can pick a camp that resonates for them. But as I mentioned, also, these Friday night programs are really something that I love. I really wish I could live another 50 years just to sort of see how much technology will continue. I remember watching Neil Armstrong walk on the moon, and now my phone has so much more capability than all the computers that it took to get him on the moon and Buzz Aldrin and get him back. So we're not necessarily trying to turn everybody into an engineer, but trying to make you a more informed citizen. Back in 2020, we had to stop doing these because of COVID, and so we thought, well, geez, we have all these speakers lined up. Why don't we have them zoom into us, and we'll put it out on our YouTube channel? And so if you actually go to YouTube and just type in Kopernik Observatory and Science Center, you'll land on our page, and you'll be able to see the last 6 years worth of these programs. So a couple weeks ago, we had somebody from the U.S. Field and Wildlife Service talk about fireflies. We've had actually a former intern of ours. Actually, this summer we had two former interns. Dana Karras is now has his master's degree in marine archaeology, and he did talk about the work that he does looking at shipwrecks. Last week, we actually had another one of our interns who's now getting her PhD out in University of Colorado Boulder on the sun, and it's we called it our eruptive neighbor. We had a TikTok a few weeks ago. Now we also do we've also done some watch parties for various launches of note, but also we'll do programs for specific astronomical events. So last year there was a lunar eclipse that happened in March of 2025. Most of you probably didn't see it because it started at I think 2 or 2:30 in the evening, or in the morning, if you will. But Jenny Cardi, our Livestream astronomer, did about a 1 minute time lapse. So she had to change the exposure on the camera so that we could actually get the dimmer blood moon. And why the moon would turn red is when the Earth is blocking the sunlight. It's the low frequency light, if you will. The red light is what refracts through our atmosphere and colors it red. And then eventually she changed the exposure back so that we could sort of see the moon that we're sort of always used to seeing. So anyway, you get a sense of the kind of things that we can do here. So I'm very fortunate to have a geocaching partner, and who happens to be my wife. And this is something that we've been doing for a number of years, and I've asked her to join me this evening. She will do most of the presenting, and I'll do most of the rebuttal. So we're gonna get to that here in a second. So I'll introduce my wife, Leann Lesperance.
Hello.
Is your mic on?
I think so.
Okay.
Can you hear? You can hear it back. All right. Because we do have people listening on the live stream. That's really what the microphone for is. And I'll give a shout out to my dad and my stepmom who are in Milwaukee, probably watching me right now, and to my mom and my sister who are in Falls Church, Virginia. So hi to them. I don't know when we got the idea to start this or how we heard about it, but it's been at least 15 plus years that we've been doing this, but at a really slow pace because we don't get out much. On the weekends, Drew's job keeps him here. He is, besides the director of the Kopernik Observatory, he is a church musician and he leads a group at church every Sunday, so we don't go far on the weekends. But we have managed to do quite a few of these, and we've certainly learned a lot, and that's why we're sharing it with you.
Just by matter of interest, who has done geocaching? Anybody? Oh, okay, a handful. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're you can consider it a modern treasure hunt. Am I using this? There we go.
Yeah, right. The right.
Or which one?
Yeah, right. The right here. Yeah, the right. Yeah,
this one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So being a teacher, so I'm a pediatrician as my day job. We have some objectives to cover today. We're going to hear about what is geocaching, how did it get started, how do you find a geocache, who are geocachers, and what are the rules and who enforces them. So we'll go through that. All right, so what is geocaching? All right, geo. Who knows what the prefix geo means? Earth. Okay, great. Earth. And then cache. What's a cache? something that's hidden, something, yeah, excuse me? A treasure. Okay, a treasure. I like that. Yes. So something that's hidden, something involving the earth, if you will, on the earth, in the earth. So geocaching. Okay, sorry. Okay. Yeah. So the basic idea of geocaching is to find hidden things. All right. And they're on the earth where we are. One way to explain a geocache is it's like an Easter egg hunt, but without the candy. And you'll see one of the rules later. You're going to solve the mystery of sort of where and how something is hidden. It's a low impact activity, brings adults and kids of all ages, families out to the great outdoors. All right. So it's also known as using multi-billion-dollar satellites to find Tupperware in the woods, literally. Okay. All right. So there is a 30 plus multi-billion-dollar satellites.
The GPS satellites are a constellation of satellites that we're so used to using now. You know, if you've got a like Waze or something, or that's what they're using. They're these 30 satellites, 31 currently.
Yeah, so it's sometimes a little north of that. So there's 30 plus satellites. Altogether, we call it the Global Positioning System, or GPS. You've probably heard that term. And it can help calculate your position on the Earth, tell you what latitude and longitude you are. So that's kind of a visual of the satellites orbiting the Earth. They're 12,550 miles above the Earth. They circle 2 times a day. They broadcast their current position down to the Earth via radio waves. By analyzing these signals, it's possible to determine the latitude, longitude, and altitude of your location. And we can use that to our advantage. So this system is actually owned by the government. I learned that it is run by the U.S. Space Force, which is the 6th branch of the military. Did everybody know that besides me? Some people knew it. Okay. All right. I did not know that. So that's kind of what it looks like. And at particular moments, there are some number of satellites always circling that can see you and ping you. All right. There's various types of receivers for them. So in the days when we started this, which again was a while ago, we had one of these, a GPS receiver that's all it was dedicated to doing. And there were lots of different brands, various types.
Actually, give me a second here because
Oh, he's got one. Oh, he's got one in the drawer. There you go.
you might have seen some of these before in the past. This is what one of those handheld GPSs were like.
Yeah, and we borrowed one for our first time doing it. We borrowed one from here, I believe, to try it out. Nowadays, this is what we use. So our phones have GPS receivers in them. And years ago, the phones could not function as a GPS receiver without having cell service. But nowadays, there are built-in receivers in most phones. So even if you don't have cell service, even if you're not having Verizon or whatever your cell service is, you can still access the GPS receiver. So I guess that's true for most phones. Maybe some of you like us have some ancient phone at home, and that one might not do it. But you can. There's a receiver in the. So I'd say the bulk of people. So of all the people that have done it, has anyone used a receiver? You've used a receiver. Okay. Who else has used a phone to do it? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The rest, yeah.
So we started out with the receiver. Actually, I recall we had an outing in Ithaca, was our first trip to look for one. We literally had to drive the car. Like we were looking at, you had a...
We had one of those like Garmin GPSs
Yeah.
that would get us sort of in the area.
and we would have to, no, I think turn left and turn, because we were trying to match the signal on the receiver, and then try to find it, using that receiver thing. And then years later, the phone came along, and I was going to say, we had the GPS. We were looking for something in Ithaca, and then we left the receiver on the bench in Ithaca, where at the downtown commons thing that they have, and we had gone to the car, and then we're like looking for the thing, and then we're like, shoot, what do we do with and here we had borrowed it from here, and we almost lost the receiver. But anyway, we found it. It was still sitting on the bench, gratefully that no one had picked it up. I'm guessing no one even knew what it was, because
Although in Ithaca, maybe they might.
Maybe in Ithaca they would have
Cornell
known.
there,
Yes.
yeah.
So anyway, we now pretty much do all of our stuff on cell phones, and most cell phones do have it. Okay. So how did it get started? On May 1st, 2000, the government allowed the GPS signal degradation to be removed. So they didn't want people to be able to find things to interrupt the military and things, secret, operations. But I forget all the politics behind it. But at some point they said, you know what, we're going to let this be used to locate things. And so because they were like making everything fuzzy and large distances, and you couldn't really localize things. But they removed it on May 1st of
For public
2000
access, right.
for public access. And on May 2nd, 2000, someone hit a cache. So that a guy got the idea to hide something, and then he posted it on some network of engineers or something like that, and within a day or two, people came to find the geocache. That they didn't call it that at that point, but that was the start of it. So the location, I forget, is
It's
it
out on the
Oregon?
West Coast,
In Oregon, and had the coordinates. There you go. So, and this was the sort of original. It became a thing, and this was their original logo. Geocaching.com is the most common one. Jeremy Irish is the owner of the geocaching.com website. He expanded the idea and named it geocaching, so he was part of the group of people who did the first ones. It's now in it's in all 50 states, and it's in 190 countries. This website, geocaching.com, is by far the most used of anyone. Has anyone used any other website besides geocaching.com? Okay. And when this started, you could only do it like in your thing. And if you paid a subscription fee, you could get it to download to your computer, and you could print out the directions.
We'll get deeper into the information that you could ultimately download and have that with you.
But you had to, so we signed up for a premium membership. It was $30 to sign up for it. And that enabled us to download things from the GPS receiver into another platform. Now, we still pay that membership, actually, because, I don't know, we think it's a worthy cause, and it's never gone up from $30, and it seems like a lot, to help run this business. But
also, it gives me access to things that not the free version doesn't.
Yeah, so we'll go over that. But in the beginning, again, it was a lot more work. You had to kind of plan ahead in a way that you really don't now. So
to give you a sense of where there's 3.4 million caches, and they are literally on all continents, including 48 right now down in Antarctica. And there's actually one on the International Space Station.
And what really will kick your butt occasionally is you will go someplace, and then you will leave that place, and then you will think, oh, I wonder if there was a geocache there. And maybe it's like we were on top of this crazy mountain in Vermont, and we totally forgot about it. And it turned out we had walked all the way up there and could have gotten a geocache, but we didn't because we forgot about geocaching.
I think
that
we were
day.
huffing and
Yeah,
puffing.
I think we were huffing and puffing. Yes. Okay. Okay. So how do you find a geocache? Well, the first thing a lot of people do is go to the website. So geocaching.com. If we are taking a trip and we want to scout it out in advance, you go to geocaching.com, you put the location in there, and you see what's in. So you can have a town, you can define a radius. So the website is super helpful to play around and try to learn more about stuff. Okay, here's an example. Again, this is using the website on the computer. This is a search for geocaches in our area. And you can get it on a list, and you can also get it on a map. And it's little green circles with a line in them. And then when they get found, it's a happy face. And if they're not found and someone specifically tried to find it and it is not found, then it has a frowny face on it. So this is Vestal. This is and across the river you see Binghamton. So this is just again on the computer.
So you'll notice that there's mostly these little green dots, but also there's some orange dots on here, and also some blue dots, and we'll talk about those later. There are different kinds of caches.
Okay. Again, this is still on the computer. You can get a whole bunch of details about stuff. One thing that you might care about is there parking? Is it open at daytime or nighttime? Because some things have restrictions depending on where it is. So that's one area.
Actually, if you back up a little bit, there's actually on the right-hand column, you see those little black dots. A little hard to see the details, but those little black dots actually,
right
here. Yeah. Do it over on the other screen. There you go.
Okay.
Those black dots indicate what features or what amenities are available.
Yes, so they're parking for P and.
So this particular geocache is actually one that's located here at Kopernik. It's called Stargazer.
Okay, so there's a big description somewhere. It could be long, it could be short, but it will tell you why this person created this geocache. Sometimes it's in honor of someone, sometimes it's to show some feature, to talk about history, any kinds of things. So again, this one has what's the story for?
Oh, it just talks about these as caches part of my historical education.
Who placed it?
I don't know, and
Okay,
arguably I should have.
So it's the one here. He doesn't know who placed it.
Yeah, but it's still there.
There is a log, so everyone who tries to find it puts in either that they found it or they did not find it. And again, we'll go over this again with the phone, but what you often want to do is before you go try to find something, you look at the log and it will say the date that someone last tried to find it or found it. You almost always do that before you drive somewhere to try to do one and you find out that it's not there, because if no one has found it for the last 6 times or whatever, it's obviously maybe been taken or somehow damaged.
Misplaced, yeah.
Or misplaced, yeah. So people will notify the owner that there is a problem, and then the owner gets an email and they have to come and fix it. We'll talk more about that. But checking the log first before you head out to find something is super helpful, especially again if you have to drive somewhere and you get there. And so
sometimes even in the logs, people will actually put pictures, maybe of the actual, not the specific location, but they may show the container to give you a sense of what it looks like, or they may give you a view of a certain vista that they So sometimes those pictures can be helpful. Usually we try not to use those until we're spending 20, 30 minutes. It's like, all right, we need some help.
Yes. So it could save you heartache by checking the log. Also, there is a hint column.
If you go back here.
Well, we'll see it on the other one too.
Yeah. you go back here, down low here, there is a cryptograph. And if you want, you can decrypt it, and then there'll be a little hint. But
It
again,
looks slightly different on the phone,
Yeah.
but it's hidden, and you have to click something to reveal it, so you're not going to accidentally get the hint. But the hints.
right.
So if you're trying to be in a hurry and you really need to get somewhere, then you look at the
Yeah.
hint right away and you go
you
on.
move
Yeah. Okay.
Right. By itself.
Okay. So we just did that one. Okay.
Right.
All right. So here's the cell phone view. So that's actually looking at 26 here, and this is this little smiley face is the one here at Kopernik. So you can see, well, actually, I guess this is a little old, but all of these are ones we have done. So once we find them, they're yellow, but if you haven't found them yet, it'll be green for you. So.
But what's nice about this is like you can sort of see over here on the left-hand side, on the lower left. Let's see if I can get over here. This is Tracy Creek Park, and over here is Jones Park.
Here, I got it.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Jones Park is down
so
here.
if you're out for a little hike with a family, there's a whole bunch of caches in Jones Park.
Okay, and then you'll zoom in. So when you're, first you kind of look at the area and then you zoom in closer and see where you want to head, because you're going to have some goal in mind. All right, that's what the log looks like on your phone. And again, it's the same as it is on the computer, but just on the phone.
And what's nice is that, again, people, once you log it, it automatically dates it on the log, so you can tell how soon or how recent somebody has seen it. If the last entry is 4 years ago, maybe that might be one to skip.
Okay, so this really is the core details from it. So there's a difficulty on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 is going to be on pavement, super easy, no stealth, no physicality required or anything. 5 is going to be some terrain. Well, sorry, not the terrain. 5 means that it's going to be really hard to find.
It's stealthy.
You'll see a park and grab. PNG is something that is going to be super easy. It's going to be we'll show you one of the classic locations is under the skirt of a light post in a parking lot.
There have actually been caches that we've grabbed that didn't even get out of the car. Just put the window down, lift it up.
Because you just lift up the screen.
But we had to know where to go.
Yeah. So again, the GPS takes you closer to it, and you learn some kind of classic ones, but there are a million that are not classic. But anyway, so the difficulty, if it's a park and grab, it's going to be a 1. There's not less than 1. And if it's super hard to figure out and requires a bunch of work or scratching your head or whatever, it's going to be a 5. Terrain, so 1 is flat pavement. 5 is that mountain in Vermont that we were at the top of, which we didn't log, and in between. So if you have to scramble on something, if you have to go off of the grass, it's going to be a 1.5 or maybe a 2 if it's really bumpy. 3, 4, 5. They're pretty few and far between, the 3, 4s, 5s, but that gives you an idea of it. And every person who builds these or places these has their own idea of what a 1 or a 2 is, but in general, you'll get the hang of it. And then the size of the container. So micro, they even some people call them nano, because like really tiny ones, and up to an ammo box, is big. Now an ammo box would probably be covered in camouflage tape or something so that it would not show, because again, these are hidden, never buried. So we'll go over that's one of the rules. They're never really buried. They're hidden, but have to kind of be findable, but only by certain people. So only by people who know what they're looking for is who finds them. So again, this is my cell phone version. I've taken one of the dots. I've clicked on the dots that I want to go look at, and it pulls me up this page. So it's placed this, who did it, the hint. If we wanted to, we could reveal the hint. Don't. Oh, this is a static. This is static. Okay, sorry. Okay, so there's a hint under there, and you can tell because it's green that there is a hint. It would be like black if it's not a hint. Message means that you want to message the owner or then tell something. The description is just going to have like a one line on your phone, and you could click on it and read the description. And then the log is going to, again, it's a one click, and then you open up the log. And then the attributes, so it has stroller access. This one's recommended for kids, parking nearby, all of that. So all of that you can get just from clicking on your phone. Now, the best button, which I don't have a demo of it here though, so navigate, that button up top, and when you click on navigate, it has you holding the GPS. It knows the location of the find of the cache, and so it directs you to go to where the cache is.
And it'll tell you how many feet you are away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really helpful when you're trying to. Now the signals can bounce, and then sometimes people will write in it, signal is unreliable, had to really look around or something. They're usually pretty close on to where the actual location is. And then the clicking button for the log, to log it. So again, we'll show that in a second. But that's why the phone is so easy, because it really gives you everything that you need to know to be able and to get to it and access it. Yeah. And the fact that you can do it really technically without cell phone coverage is a big bonus. These are some of the vocabulary that gets used. So first to find, sometimes people leave a prize in their thing for the first person to find their cache. TFTC, thanks for the cache. Took nothing, left nothing. BYOP, bring your own pencil. So almost always you need your own pencil. And we try to carry a pen, in our pocket at all times when we're doing this, because most cases aren't big enough, but some are. DNF, did not find. So it's really hard to admit that you can't find something. And I know that there's two camps. A lot of people say they didn't find it, and so other people know that they didn't find it, and then some people just hate to mark it, so they just don't do it, and they say they're going to come back and do it again. They don't want to admit to not finding it. We've been guilty about that. We tried and we're like, it's got to be here somewhere, but so we're not going to put DNF. But you cannot find. Okay, a muggle. Everyone knows what a muggle is? What's a muggle?
Does anybody remember from
Harry Potter?
Non-wizards, right?
Right.
Muggles. Right?
Yes, a muggle is a non-wizard in Harry Potter. And in geocaching, anyone who is not doing geocaching is a muggle.
So that makes you a wizard if you do geocaching.
So if you had the geocache sitting right next to you and it was hidden under that chair, let's say with a magnetic container, I might, come and sit here and be chatting with you and reach under there and then pick my thing up and
put it in your pocket.
Put it in my pocket and maybe walk away, and then we would go open it up and sign the log, and then you just.
There have been times,
nice
however,
to see you again, and put it away. So that's what you are. They are supposed to be. Muggles are not supposed to know what you are doing. So people who are not out geocaching are not supposed to know what you're doing.
Sometimes we've actually seen other geocachers going after the same cache at the same time.
P&G is park and grab, like I said. So that's a classic for what do you call the
skirt?
On the road.
Or the bumper kind of thing. Or the
a guardrail. Yeah. That's classic. Magnetic. You'd park your car right next to the guardrail, look for it there, and And then a travel bug is a TB, but we'll show that in a second.
These terms you tend to see in the
logs
that people have put in.
Okay, so what's the point? Well, get outside, get some exercise. Some of you, anyone ever do Pokemon? Okay, I mean, I apparently the number of steps people were walking went way up when people did Pokemon. This helps too. You're getting out of the car, you're going, get it. Sometimes just getting to the cache area can be a big part of the adventure because you're taking yourself someplace where you wouldn't have gone. It's one thing to see the latitude and longitude plotted on a map, but it's another one to figure out how we get from here to there to find it. So you can see it, but you might not figure out how to get there.
I'm going to point out that all the people in this picture are smiling.
Yeah.
So just,
Oh, there you go. You get to exercise your brain. It sounds pretty simple, but many caches are very well hidden and take some searching and experience to find. So some of them have tricks to them, a lot of really interesting things. The journey to reach the cache area and the challenge of actually finding the cache can be equally rewarding. So it is a journey, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Drew, you just did this one recently, right? So we're going to show you some caches. We won't be giving anything away because you have no idea where these are, but these are some examples of it. Was that the beginning one of the next one?
Stock
Okay.
photo. This is a cache that I did
just a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Earlier this week. I came upon the base of a tree, and you can sort of see that there's this rock in this area that just seems like an odd place for a rock to be. So I moved the rock, and there it is. There's the cache container. What does it look like? Like a snail. Exactly. So I picked it up and I held it up underneath, and it says, official geocache, do not remove. And then you slide that little piece of the thing, and that's where the log was.
That's called a bison tube? Is that what that's called?
Yeah, ish. I know it's sort of on the.
It's a metallic, waterproof container.
Yeah, so you'd have to unscrew it. Again, there's no pencil here, so you'd have to bring your own pencil. Of course, I didn't have my pencil with me.
Of course. So that's a safety pin with some little beads on it, and then this is the container, and I'm guessing there was a log in there?
Yeah, there's a log in there. So sometimes also having a pair of tweezers is actually useful to be able to extract the log from there.
Because a log in that kind of container is usually a rolled up piece of paper, and there's official geocaching paper that people have with lines on it. It's really it's lined sort of heavyish paper, and everybody just signs on one line. And so our caching name is Deskurance because he's Deskur and I'm Lesperance. We had a ship name before ship names were popular, more than 30 years ago. We did. So anyway, you just would put Deskurance, and then you would log it in the computer and in the phone. But that's a classic one. Yeah. All right.
So, but people are very clever, and they will sort of hide something in plain sight. So it looks like it's
a faucet.
A faucet. But when you think about it, like, where's the pipe behind it? You look a little bit closer, and then you finally go and you unscrew it, and sure enough, there's the log.
Yeah. So this wad of paper is the log that was inside the faucet.
Actually, looks like there might have been like a piece of a plastic bag that they probably put the log into.
Yeah, because rain is often a factor here. Yeah. So almost everything that people get to, people learn. Yeah. Little plastic bags.
Another classic container is sort of one of those key magnet holders, and this one happens to be camouflaged a little bit. But again, you get yourself into any place that's got a metal container, it's very easy, or like a guardrail or something, you can easily attach that. Then people get really clever.
Mean.
Yeah, clever, mean, whatever. So that was it looks like just a regular bolt, but it actually pulls out, and sure enough, there's a log inside.
And again, in that case, the tweezers would have been really helpful.
Yeah. Or the side of an electrical box.
I think this one was in Ithaca.
And you know,
So this is a metallic container. It's a switch plate with a magnet underneath it, and the log is in the paper. So
oh,
it just looked like it was part of the
right.
of the feature, whatever I forget what was there.
So,
So that's what you're looking for, something that seems a little off. Like,
right.
why would there be a black one of those and all the other ones are silver or something like that?
This is personally, I don't like where they put that, because that looks like that's actually part of you know, a ventilation system for whatever building that is. But somebody put one there, and of course, what do you mean no hint required? Again, there've been some really um, clever clever ones that we found. One that I to me was one of my favorites was uh, it's no longer around, but it was called An Inevitable End. And we went to the area, and there were these there was a deer skull and some bones sitting on the ground. We probably spent 45 minutes looking for it. We just could not find it. And I happened to pick up one of the bones, and there was this perfectly cut angle through the bone, and I just twisted it and pulled it apart, and the tube for the that was holding the log was inside that bone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right in the shaft of the bone.
So,
So sometimes the hints really help you, really, really help you. Okay,
so
what do we got?
Muggles.
Okay. So again, Muggles, I did my demo for you. You want them not to see you. So okay. So you found it. Now what? You log it. And again, that's a picture of a log. All right. Yeah. So keeping your logs are the program keeps track of how many finds you have.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you write your name on the paper log, but then you go back to your app on your phone or back to the computer at home, and then that's where you put in your actual
Yeah.
the,
So 15 plus years ago, we would write them down on paper, and then we would go home, and then we would go on the computer, and we would put them into the computer. So logging it is good, and again, we shouldn't not say did not find if we did not find it, but it lets others know if there's a maintenance issue, if the log is full and it needs to be, or it's wet. You're gonna let someone know. Okay. You logged it. Now what? You put it back exactly where you found it.
so like when I found that one with the snail, I had to make sure that I put the rock back on exactly the way I found it, so that it covered it up.
Okay. So who are the geocachers? Well, 20-something Gen Xers
Second row right
and
there.
30-somethings. Yep. Um, families with little kids.
First row.
There we go. Doing some treasure hunting. There's a bunch of kids. Middle age and seniors doing it. The only age group apparently that are not well represented are teenagers.
We can attest to that.
Yes, because our girls, when they were young, were totally on board with doing this with us. And then there came a time when, I'm staying in the car, Mom. Like, they would not even get out of the car. So, and kept their heads down and away from us. So we can attest to that they're 26 and 24 now. Maybe a smidge more tolerant, but not that much.
Yeah, they still stay in the car. So.
Yeah. Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts have geocaching badges. There's other groups that do geocaching events and things. Does geocaching damage the landscape? The foot traffic is similar to hiking, and usually it's near hiking, trail walking, or bird watching. Most caches are placed near trails. I was in Milwaukee last week, and it was in the evening, and I happened to look at my phone and saw that there was a geocache nearby. But I walked over towards it, and I was alone, and it was way too far into the woods that I was like, yeah, it's not worth it, because I didn't want to like get eaten alive by mosquitoes, or I don't know, it was getting kind of dark. So most of them are placed near trails, and there's so many of them that even if you're trying, there are people who have tens of thousands of geocaches logged.
Yeah.
We're not that. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not that into it yet. Yeah. When we retire,
Yeah.
we're gonna just geocache like every day.
Yeah.
That's our plan. Here are some of the containers. So there's official things you can buy online. You can make your own. They, again, camouflage tape. People like wrap it in camouflage tape. Pill bottles are very popular. Better to put, though, the log into a plastic little Ziploc baggie and then into the container, because somebody will not tighten it all the way and it'll get wet. So lots of different novelty containers,
Including the Tupperware
Yes.
container. So
Tupperware
we in
features.
fact do see
Prominently.
Yeah.
And those snap and lock lit containers now, I think, are better than the original Tupperware. So maybe. Okay, so what's in a cache? So usually a logbook of something that you can write it down. Trinkets to trade. So like that safety pin with the beads on it, like somebody might want that. Obviously, the tiny ones don't have anything in it usually other than a piece of paper. But the bigger ones, depending on how big, have a lot of stuff. We call it geocrap. Isn't that what we call it?
Yeah.
Geocrap. We have a container actually that we carry with us in case we get to one that it seems like kids want stuff to be put in there. This almost never happens. There's sometimes an information sheet that says that this is a geocache, but rarely do we see that. And then travel bugs. Has anyone done a travel bug? You have? Okay. Okay, so travel bugs. So this is one. So sometimes you open up the container, and in the container is a object of some sort that has a tag like this on it. So this is the travel bug tag. And that is actually a QR code or of some sort that they track it with. So a travel bug is on a mission. The travel bug is on a mission to do something. So to cross the Atlantic, or to go to all 7 continents, or to make it to Milwaukee or whatever. So this travel bug's journey was to be involved in farms, American farms or something like that.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Wisconsin, and my father, there were 9 kids, and they were on a dairy farm. And so we saw this in one of these containers. Now the container has to be big enough to hold one of these things, and it's a John Deere tractor on the top of that thing there. So the mission for this was to visit farms in the country, and I think this was when we were in Vermont.
Right.
Yeah, and so I took a picture for my dad of the John Deere tractor, which is up there. And then this was the geocache that we found. So this was like a birdhouse, but as I recall, you had to.
There was a special series of procedure that you had to do in order to open it. You just didn't had to flip it up. There was some like magnet that you had to
an
use
electromagnet kind of
that
thing.
you had to.
It was like 4
would finally
steps
open
that
it
you
up.
had to use,
Yeah.
and you had to like read the clues kind of in the geocache. And anyway, so that was a really cool combo of took us a few minutes to try to figure out how to get that thing open. And then we left and we had picked up the tractor, I don't know, in Indiana or something like that. And then the next thing we had to keep looking for a farm and an opportunity to do it. So that's what we put into that geocache there. Did I miss anything on that? No. Okay, so this is me and our younger daughter years ago, and this is a BMW, 900,000 miles, I guess. And that's again a travel bug. And the mission of that was to
See
I
how
don't
many
know,
see
see
how
how
many
many
miles
miles
you
it
could
could
do
do
it.
or something like that. And you actually, there's a thing on the thing.
Right. So we found this in Vermont. I think we put it in a location locally here.
Oh, we put it in Ithaca.
Yeah.
It ended up in Owego.
Yeah, and then actually KA2 CNG, that was his ham radio call sign, but that's his geocaching thing. He took it to Oregon. So it
Okay,
actually
so travel bugs have a map that goes with them, and you see the journey that the travel bug has been on. So again, you're not supposed to take it if you aren't fulfilling the journey, the goal of the travel bug. And again, whatever, I don't remember all the details of this one, but it'll have a very specific goal, and then you see if you can do it. Now, sometimes they sit in your car for a while before you can find the right place, and then you feel really guilty because you're like, oh, I got to get rid of this travel bug. I got, but the container has to be big enough, and so many of them are small. That's why it's sometimes sort of takes you a little bit. So that's why you have to think twice before you pick up a travel bug, because you need to be able to do what it wants you to do, and you have to be able to get rid of it.
right.
So okay, variations on the game. So these are called traditional caches. That's those green circles on the thing. Multi-caches are like two yellow things next to each other. So that's a multi-step. So that means you find one thing or another, and then you have to find another and another, and then it comes out with some puzzle or something. So that's a multi-step. Virtual caches or earth caches, that means there's nothing that you pick up, just you look at or you learn something.
It takes you to maybe to a vista overlook that might have had some historical
It
significance.
Yeah, and it often involves rocks, or
Yeah.
and it's sedimentary or igneous or whatever. So if you're into rocks, the virtual caches and the earth caches are your thing. Oh, I think we usually pass those by because we feel like we never really understand them. So it depends on your journey again. An event cache, like there could be a thing sponsored and everyone's trying to find certain on a day in a city. There's gatherings. I don't know. Boston Common, I think, had some big gathering of geocachers. So there's events, and then there's night caches. Usually people don't do them at night, but there's a whole cadre of people that do night caches. Okay, what are the rules? There's a million rules. No caches on land maintained by the U.S. National Park Service or the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. No caches that are buried. So again, you cannot bury things. No caches placed on archaeological or protected historical sites. No caches close to active railroad tracks. You have to be 150 feet minimum away. No caches on military installations. No caches near or under highway bridges, dams, government buildings, or airports. So again, you look suspicious sometimes when you're going around these places. So you can imagine you don't want to be like at an airport trying to poke into the fence or, right? No caches on school property without permission. So especially a bunch of old people going to a school, I guess, would be suspicious also. Okay, there's some rules. So cache placement, when people, I read that they recommend you have done at least 100 caches that you've found yourself before you try to place one. So that's sort of a piece of advice. No vacation caches. So people need to be able to access the cache to maintain it. So it's it's frowned upon for somebody to live in Hawaii and, put a cache in Binghamton, New York and not be able to attend to it. No cache closer than 1/10 of a mile to an existing cache. So it's a little hard to exactly measure, but you can see on maps, like in Vestal, there's to the west of us a little bit, there's a smiley face, which,
in Pennsylvania, yeah.
yeah, that's right over the border. Yeah. And so it's like every, thing, and it makes this big smiley face. Then it must be exactly 0.1 miles apart. So that rule. The cache owner must obtain permission from landowners if required. So if you're doing it on someone's private property or in front of a store or whatever, you'd need to get permission. Did I miss anything? Okay. No food in them. No weapons. No drugs or alcohol. No adult materials. No solicitations. No business ads. Nothing is supposed to be there. Crap is okay, like little trinkets and nothing kind of things is okay. But did you have some? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Who enforces the rules? Geocaching.com. That's why we give them our $30. We get $30 worth of enjoyment out of it, so that's why we give it to them. And we didn't show you, but again, some geocaches are labeled premium, and so premium is for people who've paid the $30 and have a subscription. There's no real difference between the premium ones and the regular ones, as far as I can see. I don't know who chooses which one is premium, but it's just to help to support them. And I guess you could find the one, but you wouldn't be able to log it, I think is what it does. So geocaching.com controls the listing of geocaches. There's volunteer reviewers who approve them. They will check on it, and if like it hasn't been used in a long time or something, they'll take it off and retire it. Reviewers do not visit the geocache in person as part of the approval process. But again, I think if they get like too many did not finds or something like that. Reviewers view the online description, coordinates, the topo maps, proximity to other caches, and compliance with known park rules. So people practice cache in, trash out. So when searching for a cache, geocachers are encouraged to pick up trash and to tote it away. And there's many geocachers put trash bags in their caches, so other geocachers can use them to pick up trash in the area. That's kind of ecologically friendly. Geocaching organizations often host large carry it in, take it, trash it out, or for picking up trash in an area. Here's a little guy who made a big contribution there. And that's it. Questions? Yeah.
Okay, hold on, wait a second. Let me bring the mic over here so that people can hear. Where's the question?
Take a trinket, but like leave a trinket maybe.
So you can take a trinket. You don't. It isn't like you have to.
You don't have to leave one. Yeah, you can take a trinket. If there's a trinket inside there, it's for taking. Yeah.
Any other questions? Oh, well, okay. For those people who geocache, is any favorite event that or cache that you came upon? One of the ones that we found, we were again up in Vermont. We went to a location near a one of those bridges.
Over, a drawbridge.
A drawbridge.
Yeah.
And we ended up ultimately talking to the bridge operator about the work she does, with that and how does it work. And
it's the last operating drawbridge in Vermont.
And she was saying that the control location for the drawbridge is you actually have to go on the bridge. You get into this little building, and you then operate the bridge from there, and the bridge pops up, the boat goes underneath it, and then it brings it down. But one time she said she was in it, she brought it up, the boat went by, and as she was bringing it down, it stopped, and it stopped in a point where she couldn't get out
of the hut
for hours.
Yeah.
So now they have a
bucket,
a little bucket.
There's no bathroom. There's no bathroom
for her bio break.
Yeah.
But
we were looking for a geocache right next to where that was, and that's how we met her. Sometimes you learn really interesting things about the area, and you meet some interesting people.
But also, like if we're traveling somewhere, almost any rest stop on a highway will have a geocache there. So it's an opportunity for you to get out, stretch your legs, and again, it's usually within 100 yards of the parking spot. Usually
close enough for the teenagers to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But again, we found some some interesting ones there, but again, some of them are pretty straightforward. Others, as I said, I really love finding the ones that are just. There was one actually that looked like a piece of um, fungus on the side of a tree,
Yeah.
and I just sort of you happen to touch it, and it was it twisted. So somebody had taken this fungus, cut it off, put hollowed it out with a log, and then basically had a nail that it sort of hung on, and you wouldn't think twice about it unless you happen to touch it and it moved around. So
Okay, so again, who said they've geocached? Okay, and no interesting one? All been a while. All right. You're an expert geocacher?
I'm not an expert, but when they had the one where there was the bolt that came apart,
Yeah.
oh yes, that took us 45 minutes to see on a guardrail along. It was a little too close to the interstate, but
Okay. Okay. All right. And who else? No, nobody else with an interesting one. All right. Well, I hope that you all experience it. Again, there's how many here? 473 in this area.
yeah,
It could keep us busy. There's a few on the rail trail. There's for sure 2 on the western end of the rail trail. We did one the other day.
yeah.
there was one more. You know how light poles have all of those. You know how those light poles have all of the numbers on them and different kinds of different kind of numbers. They had added 2 numbers and they were magnetic, and you pulled them off, and the log was written on the back of the number.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, and you go, like, man, have we ever seen these kind of numbers on these poles? It's like, no, then that must be it. But it was like 45 minutes.
It's that's the thing is it's well, you do your Columbo thing. It's like what's a little different, what's not quite right, and that's where you.
You guys place the cache?
No.
We played. No,
No.
we haven't yet.
No. That's
Um,
to come.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to put one here, but then somebody did it. So,
Yeah.
all right.
I don't know, 250. How many have we found?
Almost 294.
I mean, but it's pathetic actually for as many years as we've been doing it. But we totally forget about
We go in
it.
spurts. Like, well,
Yeah.
we go on a vacation. We might do 8 or 10,
See,
and then
it's in my travel folder, like right there, right? And 294. Oh, we got to get to 300. 294. Okay. All right. We'll let you all know. We'll let you all know when we get to 300. Yeah, we found 2 this month, so that's good for us because I think it might think it was 2010 maybe when we started
probably,
this.
yeah.
Maybe before that. Anyway, sad. Yeah. So
Well, anyway,
okay. Everyone here tonight? Are you all from Binghamton or Vestal?
so we have a rule here at Kopernik is you can't leave until you look through a telescope. And so we've got a couple of our Kopernik Astronomical Society members here in the back. Is the six is open? And we've also got at least one scope out in the yard that's going to be looking at the moon. Also at 9:55 or 9:50, there's a pass of the International Space Station that we'll be able to see. So I'll be meet us out there, and we'll sort of talk you through the seeing the space station as it flies by. So next week we actually our talk is going to be about the BAE systems, the hybrid buses and the electric trucks that they're making. They're actually going to bring one of their next generation electric trucks up here to check out. So that's the talk next weekend and next Friday, and then when we get into August, we are going to be preparing for the Perseid meteor shower. So on August 7th, I believe that following Friday, we'll have a talk about comets and meteors. But then the following week, I think it's on Tuesday and Wednesday, is the peak of the Perseid meteor showers. And as long as it's clear, we will be open. We won't have a program per se, but you'll be welcome to come up here. Again, the dark skies is really what you really need to really see those, to see more of the meteors than you would otherwise, in town. So thank you all for coming. and please join us outside.